I've owned the EOS R now for about 8 months, and throughout the course of those 8 months I've shot a lot of video on it. To be more specific, I've shot a lot of log footage on it. So I want to make a video, I guess, talking about what I think the best settings for shooting log on this camera are. So the first step is obviously turning C-Log on your EOS R for video recording, and the way you're going to do this is by hitting menu and then tabbing over under the camera section to section number 4. And when you're in section number 4, you'll see the C-Log option. Once you see the C-Log option, scroll down to it and enable it for 8-bit recording. That's assuming you're recording internally. You can shoot in 10-bit, but that's only if you're recording externally to an Atomos recorder or something of that nature. Once enabled, you'll see the list of different options here. The first one is View Assist, and I'm going to go ahead and recommend that you enable this. All that View Assist basically is a way to, I guess, assist you with viewing your log footage, so that when you're actually shooting the log footage, you're not just looking at a flat picture profile. It basically just slaps a Rec 709 LUT over, whatever you're shooting, or I guess similar to Rec 709. But that's all that View Assist really is, and to me it helps with exposure, or even if you're just viewing it, if you want to show your client or your director on set, View Assist is going to help you out with that. A lot of the times on professional cinema cameras or external monitors, they'll actually have custom LUTs that they'll be putting over the footage on the monitor on set. So this is kind of the, I guess, budget version of that, or the consumer version on the EOS R here. And just one more note about it, View Assist does not alter your image. You're still going to get a flat log picture profile. It's not going to slap the LUT on for when you pull it into your timeline. It's just for viewing, specifically for viewing. And when you're actually done recording the clip, you'll notice that when you're viewing the footage, it's actually going to be flat and looking like log. So it's only for exposing and only for shooting. The next option is color matrix, and this is down for preference. You either got neutral or you got the EOS Cinema original. I personally prefer the original because I think it gives it more natural colors. It's going to make your oranges orange instead of your oranges pink or magenta. So it's personally what I choose, but you can look at these two side-by-side comparisons and choose for yourself. Then for the characteristics, I kind of try to make it as flat as possible so it gives it the most cinematic feel instead of going for a more digital look. So I have the sharpness all the way to 0, I have saturation all the way to 0, as well as contrast. I'm just trying to make it the flattest it can be so that I can really play with it in post instead of trying to pump up the contrast in the image so I can't get anything back later. I have experimented with this and shot some footage with the saturation at +1, but I feel like when you do that, even the +1 of saturation is almost too much. So I would just recommend pulling them all the way down and adding whatever it is that you need in post, whether that be contrast or saturation. And then for hue, I don't really touch this because I don't really want the hue of the colors or, the shift in magenta or the tint or the green or the magentas to be altered. I just want them to come out of the camera I guess as standard run-of-the-mill as they can be. If there's really a scenario where I want it to give a certain look by changing the hue of the colors, then I'll do that, but for most of the time I just want it to be as standard as possible. So the next modification is going to be something that no one really talks about on YouTube. When you're shooting C-Log on the EOS R, the native ISO is actually 400, so you're getting the best dynamic range at ISO 400. There's actually a way in the menus, and I'm going to tell you how to do it right now, to change your base ISO to 400 when shooting video or shooting C-Log, so that you don't crank the ISO to 100 and lose some of that dynamic range, even though it's very minimal. So you're going to press menu, and under the little camera icon, you'll tab over to menu number 3. Here you'll see your ISO settings, and you can change your base ISO for 4K and as well as 1080 video to 400 so that you can't put the ISO to anything lower. Keep in mind you'll probably need some ND filters for this. So no one's really going to notice this difference of 100 ISO on C-Log versus 400, but it is a small difference that does boost the quality of the image a fair amount. I shot a music video and it was when I was first using C-Log, so I wasn't super familiar with it, and I just thought that I could shoot it at 100 ISO and 200, so I did shoot a lot of the clips on that, and there was a lot of noise in the shadows, and I'm not really sure why. It was really weird to me until I found out that the native ISO is 400. It's a slight difference, but you can see in the blacks and shadows of this image, there's a little more clarity and a little less, I guess, flatness. So with all this being said and with all these settings being spouted about, the last thing I would recommend is actually exposing for C-Log, probably one of the most important things. I would recommend you overexpose half a stop to a stop. That's going to give you the best dynamic range as well as quality. So half a stop to stop overexpose is going to give you the best quality of the image. Just look at these different comparisons. So I have one shot here which was underexposed by a stop and then corrected afterwards in Premiere. I have a shot that was exposed for, I guess, properly, as you would say, on the camera meter, so meaning in the middle, and then corrected. And then I have an overexposed with the so uncorrected. And you can see in these corners there's slightly less noise on the great exposure versus the others, but it's a slight difference. And if you want to boost the quality of your camera as much as possible, I would really recommend overexposing half stop to a stop, as well as the 400 ISO deal. So with all that being said, I hope you guys are having a lovely day. I hope this helped you in some way and you can take this knowledge to your EOS R C-Log shooting. Go have some fun out there. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.